Welcome to Mark Hogenkamp's 1/35th scale world. Here we are in Mark's cozy pre-Thanksgiving home, working on painting the face of a soldier with loops.
A tiger tank crewing.
Oh yeah? What is...
Look at how old I am. I have to wear cheaters and with the magnifiers.
I think that's very professional.
Magnifiers aren't good enough.
But what you find doing this 1/35th size even better for your dexterity?
Oh, yeah. Even better for my dexterity. There's more involved in not just putting together and sanding down and putting putty on gaps and stuff like that and sanding that down, but painting it to make it look realistic. And I plan to photograph this, and so I got this idea in the beginning of the fall. I said, oh man, wouldn't that be cool with the crap, the stuff that I have around 1/35th scale, if I made something like two women with a bathing on the second floor of a bombed out Belgian building, and bathing with a vase of water, and of course I'm going to put buckets around them, and the crew of a tiger tank, a German tiger tank, is taking a break and smoking cigarettes, and one guy stands up and points, and all of them start looking up, and meanwhile I'm going to have the machine gun girls way over here behind bushes. That's my 1/35th scale Marwin Call. This is the first Marwin Call themed diorama that I wanted to build, and so I'm so intent on this. Why I started working on this is because I have no ideas for the 1/6 stuff. So instead of sitting here and just watching TV every day and doing nothing, and waiting for a story to evolve in my head for the 1/6 world, I figured, why don't I keep my mind going, my imagination, my hands, my eyes, everything going all at once, continuously, so when I do get an idea out there, I can jump. I'm ready. I'm not, slacked.
Yeah, to give everyone out there an idea, it's about 37, maybe almost 40 degrees outside Fahrenheit, which is not too cold. And Mark loves to film in the snow, but please, everyone, we do need some indoor activities. It's too cold out there. So, Mark, we're going to take a look, before we look at your tank and your scene, we're going to take a look at how detailed this 1/35th doll is that you're working on, and some of your face techniques that we're looking at. So I'm going to come around.
Oh, all right.
Yeah?
Okay. Sure.
A good shot of all the workplace, too, and how you manage things.
Yes, this is the first time you folks are seeing the inside of my workshop / home.
Yeah.
So I'm starting with the darks and lights like they have here.
Sorry, I had to move my camera a little bit. Sorry.
In this here book.
Yeah.
And so I'm attempting to follow the guidelines, which is the first time ever. I always figure that I can do it myself, and what do I need to read things for? But I had this book when I was a kid and lost it when I was a drunk, and I don't know, maybe 10, 11 years ago, it was in the hobby shop, and I saw it, and I'm like, oh man, if I had that, then I could look at the face thing again and see how to do faces. So this is how they look, and the white stuff in the seams is the putty that I put there for gaps, and when it dries, I sand it down smooth. And what I had to do, these guys weren't looking up high enough to the second floor. They were just barely looking up. So I had to snap off his head and file down the back of his neck so he's looking up further. And then there was a big gap under his chin And so I filled that in with putty and sanded that all down. So that's putty. His neck is that white putty that I used.
That's great. And then these are obviously the different paints you're working on. You're working on his face now.
I like using Model Master. Mm-hmm. And now I'm starting to get into this Humbrol paint, which it's pretty good. You just have to mix it really well. And that's the idea that I had.
I'm going to come around this way.
Oh, no, I can take it.
Oh, here, I'm going around this way. Oops, knocked over the thermos, but we're all safe.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Do you want to bring it over this way?
Let me bring it over. So these are the finished dudes. They're like the best faces I've ever done in 1/35th scale.
Yeah.
Just from following this book.
See how close I could get.
And of course making the tank look realistic. And while I was working on the tank, weathering it, making it look battle damaged and bending the fenders and everything, I remembered the movie Fury, where the tank round would just ricochet off of the tank. So I made something that a Sherman did, firing at this thing, and it ricocheted off, and it looks more dramatic. It's like, cool, man, this tiger's been through shit. Through a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I'm working on. And those two girls that are up on the second floor, I still have to paint. The one, I can't put her arms on yet because I have to paint underneath, like the flesh underneath and everything. Her hands cover her hair and her right breast. And the other girl, I explained this stuff to people, and two girls with a picture of bathing with a picture of water, they're like, yeah, right. Where are you going to find that? Well, I had to steal those girls from a kit. Another kit. And these dudes in the tank are just looking up at airplanes.
But they're looking up at those ladies now.
Yeah, and that's the way I wanted it. So they're looking up there, they're distracted, and right behind them over here is the machine gun girls. But anyway, I painted this American, which is the first best American soldier I've ever painted. Like most realistic. It looks closer to the stuff in the book than anything else. And so just to keep the idea going, I had him running up towards the back of the tank to plant some kind of explosives because the Germans are distracted watching the two girls bathe with a pitcher of water.
It's a classic Hogan Camp theme.
It is. Yeah. And if you look
inside.
Oh no, you gotta come around here.
Okay.
That's how you know it's an original Hogan Camp.
Oh, it's got your name on it. That's great. Oh, sort of my angle.
Well, I was going to make it like it's a gallery.
Yeah.
And I had a show or something during the war.
Yeah. You could sort of see it. A belated hello to everyone who's on the call on this Facebook Live. Thanks for joining. If you have any questions, do please put them into the feed, and we'll ask Mark. This is new, and the fact that he's doing this 1/35th scale that you've probably not seen a lot of before. So if you have any questions about that, be sure to ask, and be sure to ask them early, because sometimes we don't get to questions at the very end. I want to take this time to also thank everyone who donated to Mark.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, so we had some donations on the 1 Mile PayPal account. I have to say that money goes straight to projects like this, so Mark can buy more supplies, so he could keep his art going. So please do consider donating to Mark on his PayPal account, which is posted in this Facebook Live, and it's also on the 1 Mile Facebook page, and it's also on the 1 Mile website. But if you have any questions, you could just email us or send a message on Facebook. So, Mark, you've got your loops off. You don't have to look at the details anymore.
It felt like I was wearing a helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, now my brain can breathe.
Yeah.
Again. So, yesterday, my neighbors and I spent like quite a few hours getting every leaf from our lawns combined. And then I saw the far neighbor's lawn still leaves on it, so I got the mower with the leaf catcher and vacuumed her lawn. And now everything looks nice on this block, and that's cool.
Yeah.
And after that, I felt so good just because I did that, just helping. And I decided, it's time to set up the Christmas lights. So if you want to take a look at the Christmas lights and Thanksgiving lights, and Jan Clark, the Thanksgiving wreath, the autumn wreath.
Yeah, Jan, if you're watching, I didn't see on the scroll if you were on or not, but we've got some new Christmas decorations out in the 1/6 scale version of Marwin Call. You just have to go through the stockings to get there. Sorry. Yep. Okay.
Yep, so this is Christmas. I can't open the roof
Oh,
anymore
because of the lights.
because of the lights.
The lights are nice, though. Looks fantastic. I saw you've got a visitor inside the sanctuary for the Seine, a holiday visitor.
Who?
I believe, is Santa in there? Or it's just
Santa. I thought you meant like a squirrel or a bird or something. I'm like, what? What? Somebody in there? What do you mean? Where's the mouse?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I have to change the batteries in that thing. That Christmas tree. I wrapped, the battery operated lights around it last year, and I just have to change batteries, but it's got to be after Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't do too much Christmas before Thanksgiving, but this looks great. And I'm sure we'll see, as the weeks go on, we'll see a lot more Christmas stuff out here, but this is a very different setting than last time. I think we had the British soldiers in there.
I've been looking for this washer since the summertime.
And it was just right there. Fantastic. So we've got lights here and lights on the ruined stocking, where I think you said all the dolls came inside because it was too cold out, except for Hoagie's still in there.
Oh yeah, the wreath.
Oh, and the wreath. I'll go do this wreath here. Oh, that's very Thanksgiving. That's nice. Oops. There we go.
You can crawl in there.
Yep.
I just.
Oh yeah, we just have. Oh, it looks very nice in here, Mark. Though.
Thank you. Yeah, I have to decorate that still for Christmas.
Yeah. Oh, it looks great.
And I forgot that there was still bartenders and stuff, and I brought all the other girls in because they're only in stockings and underwear.
Yeah, too cold for them.
Yeah, when they were escorting the drunk British soldiers.
So, do you have any ideas about some of your cold weather Christmas things, or do you think that you're going to do mostly the small stuff inside the house?
I'm mostly gonna stay in bed and sleep.
Sounds
Too
wonderful.
old for this jumping around out in the snow.
Yeah. That's good. What the great thing about the smaller stuff is it keeps your mind and your hands agile, right? Gets your juices flowing for other creative
I'll
ideas.
tell you, it takes more work to do that whole scene that I have in my head than it did to build all three of these buildings.
Yeah. Yeah. And-
These were like easy. I mean, I saw the thing, I had the wood, cut it, screwed it together. It was easy. No plans, no nothing, just my noodle. And with that 1/35th scale, you know, I have to read books, how to do things, and because I want to make it look as realistic as possible.
Yeah. Well, and you're incredibly proud, and you know you've talked about the detail and the look of that tank. That's your favorite tank you've done so far.
It's the best one. I thought the Sherman tank with Hoagie on the back, the 50 caliber, and Sarah over here, and some other chick over here, and they both have machine guns. And it's cold. Let's go.
Yeah. I'll follow you, Mark.
To shake and
Yeah. So the 1/35th that you've got in there, the tank is named Scrunchy, though, right?
Yep. That's the American tank.
Okay, I'll go first. Thank you. We've got some old cars here, death-proof car, tanks, stuff like that for future adventures.
Death-proof car.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I haven't seen it. So.
That's the car, that 54 Chevy, that, when Marwin Call, the documentary, first premiered in theaters down in New York City, I went down there and I had to show up for the opening. And I bought that car with Hoagie dressed in the suit and the hat and everything, and Scrunchy all dressed in the gown, 2 female bodyguards, and I laid out a red carpet, a little red carpet. And some people were like, "What are you doing that for?" And I said, "Because it's their movie. It's them. I'm not in them. I mean, the story's about them. This is their night, not mine." So I set it up. It looked so cool, just like Hollywood, that they roped it off with velvet ropes. People took pictures and everything. I loved it. It was the best time they've ever had.
Oh, that's a nice way of putting it. And your dolls now, the ones, your actors, they're in some mild storage right now while it's a little cold, but they'll come out when it gets a little warmer.
Well, Hoagie's still out there.
Hoagie's still out there. Yeah.
But he's dressed for it. The other girls, they weren't. So even the nurses came in. I brought all the other girls in, grabbed all the British soldiers because that scene was done. I left the nurses in there. I was ready to close the door and like, no, we're cold too. You got us in these mini dresses.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, you're right.
Well, that's very thoughtful of you.
Yeah,
You know when they're cold. That's nice. Well, we're going to do mostly stuff on the indoors now. You said you've got something else in that magazine about this tank, isn't that right?
Oh yeah, because I wanted to do. I remember when I was a kid, and I saw this book. This tank looked so real. I wanted to do that, and the one I just built now and painted is close.
Yeah.
It's not there yet. It's not like these guys can do it. And that's because I have a shaky hand and I can't see that well anymore.
But Mark, everyone would say these are great. Maybe we could you shine that light on it a little bit
Sure.
more? Oops.
There's such crappy lighting in this trailer.
Oh, that's great. You're right on the boards for the...
That's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are the planks
For the...
for the second story, for the
So
second
right in
floor.
there. Yeah.
That's what the girls are gonna be on right now. I just set them up loosely just so I can keep the idea. Every time I go look over there, I can keep the idea flowing. But I'm always striving to get better at, like, I see something in a book, I want to do that.
Yeah. Trying to get some of these faces that are so good.
I've never taken a guitar lesson in my life.
You'll have to play some guitar at the next session, huh, Mark?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I taught myself ever since I was a teenager. I wanted to play guitar like my grandfather did. And now I play better than I ever did before, just self-taught.
Yeah.
And I always thank my grandfather's spirit for inspiring me.
Yeah. That's great.
I'm getting better and better, and I can hear him going, "That's it." And,
yeah.
but I just keep doing it, and that playing guitar helps my dexterity. Helps me with dexterity, dividing my attention, paying attention, focusing. I don't sing. I just play guitar. It relaxes me. It's a kind of a reset button for me. Play a little guitar for like 20 minutes. I feel rejuvenated. I feel like good. I can start something new.
Well, we're totally going to put you on the spot next time and make you play some.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, this is my world.
Yeah. I'm not seeing any questions. I'm not sure if I have my settings are off or something like that. So if anyone's had any questions, I'm not getting them. So please make sure you post them. And I will try to ask Mark, but I'm not seeing any. I'm so sorry, everyone. I feel like I'm horrible at Facebook, but Mark's great at it, so that's all that matters.
I'm not even on Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well.
Oh, yeah. And that one guy there that has a cigarette. This guy.
Yeah.
That I got from Melting Sprues.
Oh, right. You were telling me about this. Let's see if I could get in close on that.
Melting sprues and stretching them, letting them dry, and cutting it to length for a
that looks
1/35
perfect.
scale cigarette. Because I was thinking about stretching a regular sprue, and I was like, no, then I have to paint it, and that makes it rounder. Putting paint on it, there's another layer of stuff, and I'm like, if I only had white sprues.
Yeah. Oh, great, guys. I'm getting all these questions now, by the way. Thank you. I could see these questions now. Thanks, Greg.
I remember getting that I had a white sprue somewhere, so I clipped this little thing out and stretched it, melted it, stretched it, and I had my cigarettes. I can make cigarettes for all my little 1/35 scale dudes.
That's great. Nicole wants to know what the name of that magazine is. I think that's what you mean. What the name of the... She says what's the title of the book, but I think she means this magazine.
Dioramas by Shepherd Payne.
Yeah, great. And Roxanne from California says, thanks for showing your studio. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, Mark.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Mark and I are going to watch Death Proof for Thanksgiving.
That's a very family-orientated movie.
Yes, yes. Jason wants to know, are you happy? You seem really happy these days.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say so. I think this week, especially because you were able to be so helpful to people.
Not only that, it's just it takes me days to do all the stuff by myself, all the leaves and everything on my lawn. And when the leaves started falling, I mowed with that grass catcher, leaf catcher thing. And I figure I have the mower. Why don't I just do everyone's lawn and get it done, so that I don't have to do it, so I don't have to put on the clothing, gas up the mower, and do all that shit. I figure I'm doing it. I have my work tunes on, and I just get into it. And while I'm mowing, I'm thinking about scenes. I'm thinking about what can I do? What can I start up? What would make sense? Then I go back to this. What can I do next on this? How can I make it look more realistic? And by that time I'm done with everyone's lawn. Then I do my lawn. And that's when I run out of gas. And that's when I come
classic.
in.
Classic.
Yeah, that's when I come in and just figure I'll do it the other day.
Yeah. So this brings us to Will Jack Parker's question. Will the action figures wear face masks in Marwen Call to remain COVID-19 free?
No.
Because there is no COVID in Marwen Call.
They're plastic. They told me that. They told me that. Even though I tell them, no, you're alive. They go, no, we're plastic. We don't catch shit like that.
Yeah.
So
they're COVID free because they do not have lungs.
it made sense to me.
Yeah. So Jim wants to know, will you be taking macro lens photos of this 1/35th scale stuff?
I don't even know what macro lens. I don't even know what that means. Macro.
Yeah.
What does
I mean,
macro mean?
close up stuff.
Oh,
you already
close-up.
do. I mean, you already take some good photos of this.
Close up stuff of this.
Yeah.
1/35th scale.
Yeah.
Oh
we
yeah.
we posted one of your photos on the Instagram of that. Yeah.
Well, that's why I want to make them look as realistic, because it's easy just to paint flesh on the face and uniform gray, and that's it, and call it a day. And it looks like any other little toy soldier. But to paint them so realistic looking, and it says in the book, as if the guy was 20 feet away. 20 feet away.
Yeah.
You know, they tell you how the distance to hold it away and stuff, how much in actual feet that would be in real life, you know, to a human being. So it's a whole other system I have to worry about figuring out if things look 1/35th scale or not, besides 1/6 scale stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like always jumping the numbers and scales and stuff in my head, and will things look right on camera? And that's why I try to make it like that, so I can shoot those close-up shots and somebody go, wow, that's really cool, toy soldier.
Yep. Brian asks, and this is a question for me, to do landscape mode instead of this vertical mode. And I want to apologize to everyone. I'm a real idiot when it comes to this Facebook Live. I've tried to do landscape mode every single time, and every single time Mark is sideways, and it's so embarrassing that I've just given up. So please send me messages of tutorials of how to do it. I swear I've tried, and it just doesn't work. Apologies. Jason wants to know, how do you know what story your residents want to portray in the scenes?
How do I know what
What they want?
Oh, when they're quiet, that means they're quiet right now. When I don't have any scenes and stuff, and occasionally I do actually go, come on guys, help me, what do you guys want to be doing next? Something cool. And I don't hear anything.
Yeah.
So that's when I start working on these things. I'm like, all right, you want to be that way.
And
want to help me out.
And to that, Stan wants to know, do each of these characters have personalities or backstories? These guys or the 1/6 scale guys?
The 1/6 scale guys, yes. I named them whatever they look like, that name. You ever meet people like that? They look like their name's Kim, but it's like something else, Mary. But these girls, it's just like whatever name they look like comes to my mind. They go, how's it sound? They go, cool. What's my personality like? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. So, and that's where a lot of thinking comes in. That's when I gas up the mower, and that's when I start mowing lawns, other people's lawns and stuff, just so I can be away from everything else, television, news, whatever's going on. with the work tunes on, music, and being alone, the drone of the motor on the mower, and that's where I do my best thinking.
Yeah. All right, some more questions. Let me try to get through as many of these as I can. What are you using the materials to make the small figures?
They're plastic.
They come already, but then you were just saying you're using some putty to move them around a little bit. So you start with
This is what they look like. And then when I put them together and putty them and all that stuff, this is what they look like.
Yeah.
They're regular plastic, and they come in a box like this. This is what I wanted to become when I grew up. This is what I wanted to be. An illustrator, painter, do box tops, do model things for, model agencies, whatever. Make posters, but painting, but this realistic stuff, this is what I was striving for. That was taken away from me, so I had to find something else to do, and that's dolls now.
Yeah.
Making stories with dolls, or a cool scene like what I have there. But I'm thinking about using these guys because they're looking up also.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something to point at, some naked ladies. Greg says, nice work. What size BT punch do you use on the figures? I don't even know what that means. BT punch. Maybe Greg can explain that more.
Who's that, Greg Fuller?
Yeah.
Greg Fuller?
Yep.
BT punch. Were you the one that sent me down to the damn depths of the ship to go search for BT punch?
Oh, maybe this is an inside joke, Greg Fuller. I'm getting it now.
And Hicks gave me that BT punch. They had to wake him up first from sleeping on the steam pipes, taking a nooner. See, stuff's coming back to me, Greg. I still have that war story that I drew. Remember in the black book with Magoo and WT and Bo. Yeah, I still have Bo's guitar.
That's amazing, Mark. It's great that you're remembering all this stuff. This is all Navy stories, guys, if anyone is not catching that.
I apologize.
Yeah. Audrey says, a nice work and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Angry says, Mark, quit smoking. That's not true. You're just not smoking now. Or are you trying?
I'm really making myself aware not to smoke.
Yeah. Is that Tiger from Tamiya or DML? Are those brands?
That's AFV.
This is from Jen.
AFV.
AFV.
It's a new company that I first, I just tried to try it out, and I like Tamiya better. Tamiya. I call it Tamiya.
Well, I'm sure that's what it's called. I just don't know it.
Well, that's the way some people pronounce it to me.
Yeah. Okay. Danny says, looks wonderful, Mark. Great job. Hi, Danny.
Danny Thomas or?
No, Danny, our friend Danny Masterson, yes. Okay. Let's see. Greg says yes on the bomber. Ruin wants to know what camera do you use to make pictures with? I think you've said this before, but not to this crew.
A Canon G6 Power Shot.
Yeah.
It's the most utilitarian camera. I mean, not that I drop it all the time or whatever, but I could take a bump here and there where my heart skips a beat, but when I pick it up, I check everything works.
Yeah.
And I don't mess with that dial, in the back portrait or whatever. I just put it on auto. That's all I ever shoot my photos with is automatic, because the camera will compensate and make the compensation for light and all that stuff.
And it also has the screen that you could pull out, right? Which is helpful for you for your angles.
for a little door.
Yeah.
Yeah, it opens up and.
Yeah.
But it is such a compact camera that I can get it into doors and stuff like that. What I have to film, it's a perfect camera for me. I try the G9 and the G10, but they have lenses that come out and extend, and when it's on, here's my camera.
Ba, 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 ba.
And when I have it on this, what Jeff Malmberg first gave me this, when he first came over to film me for the documentary, he got this tripod. Used to be a tripod when he was 17 years old, and the airline broke it in 3 pieces, and he threw away the other 2 pieces and gave me this. Angrily said, here's your first. I mean, he was not angry with me, he was pissed at the airline, but he gave it to me. He goes, here's your first tripod. And I was like, no man, it's a unipod, it's only 1 leg and it's a perfect height for everything. I said, wow, this is cool. And so this is what I use. And when I put the G9 or G10 on, not so much a G9 but the G10, the lens comes out so far that just it tips over, and I don't want to mess up that camera lens because it shoots good videos. And that's it. This is what I use.
All right, Tony.
And this is the door I was telling you
Oh,
about.
Yeah, so that way you could see things a little clearer. So Tony Ocampo wants to know, what's your favorite model that you've made all time? It might be this tank right here.
I think it's that Sherman.
Oh, this is the scrunchie. Yeah.
Here, let me bring it into the light.
Yeah.
Shoe, tiger, shoe.
Oh, yeah.
And this is my first, like I said, I was gonna have this Sherman tank with Hoagie and the girls in back of the tiger somewhere, sneaking up on it, or behind the building, and the tiger was moving, and the 2 girls were up on the 2nd floor bathing, and they just passed right by the corner, and they're looking like this, all distracted and stuff, and Hoagie and the girls open up on them with an MG 42 50 caliber and an MG 34. And plus the 105 millimeter.
Sorry, I just fell over.
Are you okay?
Yes. Sorry. I was trying to squat.
And a 105 millimeter howitzer
Yeah.
with armor piercing shell.
Oh, that's great. Sorry, everyone.
And
Thank you, Mark.
like all this shit that I put on the back, that took some time. But I'm not even done with this yet. I mean, I'm still doing stuff on it. See how this hand shakes? It just,
Yeah.
I don't like that. And so that's why I keep working on this stuff, to get rid of this shaky hand.
Yeah. Okay, so a couple more questions. Let me try to get through this. Will asked if you could make a Spotify playlist of the music you listen to while you work to inspire us. We could.
Radiohead.
It's mostly Radiohead, but we could work on something, and we could post it on the 1 Mile site.
And Led Zeppelin, Physical Graffiti.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great.
And all right, this is the music that I like to listen to when I'm outside filming, and I can open up the windows and just hear it in the background. It's not blaring in my ears like on the work tunes thing. It's in the background. I can still hear wind and birds and stuff like that. It's cool. It's relaxing. And I put in Cranberries, Enya, Radiohead is always the first, and Zeppelin, Physical Graffiti, and who else do I jam in there? Oh, know me. Klaus know me.
That's right. That's right.
But it depends on what, like, I want to film, what is in my mind that I want to film. That's how I choose the music that I want in the background. And, like Tracy Bonham, sometimes. Or Avril Lavigne. I mean, stuff like that. Like, alternative music that it says something to me. Radiohead's music says something to me. I cry when I listen when they're filming it. It's like I'm listening to the music and I'm filming it like a really sad scene or semi-sad scene. I start crying. And I just cry. I don't care who sees. I don't care what people say. I have my own world I can come back to, and they have their own world.
Will there be a 1/5? Stephen wants to know, will be there a 1/35th Deja? I think it has to...
Funny you should ask that.
And he's off. Other questions that I'm asking while you're walked away.
I'm sorry about walking away.
You're not walking away.
This is where I keep all the girls, the parts for the girls. And
Oh,
this I do
wait,
have a
I'm gonna hold her.
a 1/35th scale Deja.
Wow, Mark.
1/35th scale scrunchy.
Amazing. That's great.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh, she's not gonna stand up on her own.
These girls, of
Oops.
course,
Oops.
are German Luftwaffe girls, and they come with a 2-piece skirt that you put on, and they really don't say to paint stockings or anything on them, but I paint the garters, the stockings, everything, and it looks too good to even put a skirt on, so...
No skirt necessary.
Nope. See, and here's one lighting her cigarette. Or getting her cigarette lit by someone else with stockings in the garter, of course.
Oops.
And the girls on the tank, under their skirts, have stockings and garters that I painted.
It's incredible detail, Mark.
Thank you. And that's what I mean about practice, practice, practice. I have to keep practicing this because when I photograph it, I want it to look so freaking real. Like my doll, like the action figures look. God forbid I say dolls.
I've said dolls a few times, I'm sorry.
Hey, they're action figures.
Yeah. All right, well, guys, we got to wrap this up. But I think these garter belts are a good thing to close on. And another question was, have you considered doing some process videos or some virtual workshops? I mean, that's sort of what we're doing now. But we certainly could look into doing stuff where it's a bit more instructive, where maybe you're showing some of your techniques.
Well, what I've been doing as I've been building this and as it's been going along, I filmed the Sherman tank with the girls, Hoagie and the girls on it, when I just opened the box. And so I've been taking progressive photos of stages that I go through, each stage you go through, like the Tiger Tank crew. I took a picture of all of them before they even painted. They look like that 4th tank crew member. Just all one color, and I took a picture of that, like, just so I could figure out where I want to place them and whether their heads are actually looking all up to the 2nd floor. And each one I do, I take a picture of how it looks, how he looks, where he is. So I glued them down. That's where they are, those 3 guys. The 4th guy is either the gunner or loader, but he's coming out of the other hatch where the driver would come out of.
Oh, and what? Okay, so one last question before we
Oh,
lock it up. Joseph is asking.
This is what I use. Perfect putty.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That's the white putty.
Yeah, and Joseph wanted to know how'd you get the shell impact on the Tiger turret? I've never seen it since. Is that what we're talking about? This here? Yeah.
You mean the ricochet or the hole?
Let's talk about both.
The hole. I took this file that I was using. You can see it's all white dust on it. That I was using the file down the putty that I put on the figures, and I was like, hey, that's like the same scale that a round would be. And so I heated it up and laid it on there till it melted a little bit and took it away and shaved it down with a X-Acto knife. And then I did the same thing here, but I made sure I melted the fender a little bit, softened it up to press it in to make it look like it was an actual, that the impact of the projectile bent this sheet metal. This is all this was. That's why it got all dented up and shot up and stuff like that. But like I never knew about making these streaks, like the dirt streaks and everything, until I read the book.
All right, we're gonna have to get one more shot of that book for people who are interested.
All right.
And then take this opportunity to say thank you for everyone, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Who showed up. Thanks again to everyone who donated money to Mark. We wish you a very happy Thanksgiving
Yes, happy
in this
Thanksgiving.
very unusual time. We're looking forward to Death Proof. I hope you're doing something as interesting.
That's a holiday classic.
It's yeah, forever. And we look forward to our next Facebook Live, which will probably be a little more Christmassy, I'm guessing.
Well, not too much more.
Not too much more.
Christmassy. I don't set up a tree in my house. I don't set up decorations and everything. I do it out there. It's their world. So it's also my Christmas, but it's their Christmas too. You know, you can't exclude the folks.
Yeah. All right. So say goodbye, and we'll see y'all later. Thanks, everyone.